Hey, my name is Carl Behrens. I'm Chief Operating Officer for Chartwells and Compass Design Construction, and my role was to act as the developer on the McDonald project at Bowling Green State University.
My name is Derek Sarfontein. I'm the project manager representing Chartwells on this project. Well, I've been on the project since January last year.
Wow.
So yeah, I was on the project right from the beginning. That's basically when the design stage started, but obviously Carl, my Chartwells client into which I report, have been involved in the project probably 6 months prior to that already.
I'm the design team lead for this project. I like to call myself the design team leader.
Okay.
So I manage the architects, I manage the interior designers, the food service designers.
I'm Chris Collins. I'm with WD Partners. We're the architects for the project, and my role is principal in charge. The way we come up with the design is it's really branded architecture. We try to understand the needs of the client, and in this case there's two clients. We have our client, which is Chartwells, and their client, which is BGSU. So, you end up looking at the site parameters and what the surroundings are, what the master plan of the campus is. And from there, you start to pick up articulation and pick up design ideas from the rest of the campus, and then perhaps provide a little bit more inspiration for what the campus could be.
Scott Schrader, general contractor of the project.
So Scott, what is your role in this project?
I'm the general contractor. We bring together all of the parts and pieces and the parties and make it come out at the end and look beautiful.
So everything. So to say you're not only walking around on this property, but you spend a lot of time in that little trailer down there.
I do indeed.
Okay. Now, this is a big project. How long have you been on this project?
The project started officially July 1st of 2010, and it's slated to be a 13-month project. We'll be out of here early August this year, 2011.
My name is Mike Dobler. I'm the superintendent for Schrader Martinez, and I try and get all the subcontractors to do what they're supposed to do. I'm the superintendent, and I basically facilitate the progress of the project, is how I like to put it.
Okay, so you have a lot of subcontractors for you.
Yes.
How many do you think?
I'm probably responsible for 13 different trades and subcontractors at any given time.
name's Pat Hannon. I'm the executive chef here at Bowling Green State University for Chartwells. I was a regional chef for the company as well as a corporate chef, and been on the road for many years, so we have some wonderful projects going on here on campus. Decided to stick around. My role from the start, really working with Carl and the team, has been a lot within the design. The best way to do these design is think about the food first. So that's exactly what we did, is what we want to produce out of this building, and then we design the cooking batteries around that. And the feeling, as we all talk about, this building is about a feeling. It's not necessarily just four walls. We want to develop a culture, and this building is a tool to help us start with that culture. And it's about health and wellness for our students, food for our students, and a show. We really want to create theater.
In construction, we try to normally start with the end. We start a project with the end in mind. So the end goal here was to deliver a building, which I think Bowling Green was expecting a building, but we were thinking more along the lines of an environment, an oasis, a place where people can come and hang out and do several different things in the day, both study and socialize, meet somebody, and by the way, there was food as well. So the intent was to build a food service building, but we wanted to give them a lot more than that.
Where do ideas come from? How do you guys generate some of those that you throw out on the table?
I think it's generated by need, by a need by the college campuses to be up to speed with the latest eating philosophies of the kids, the environments they like to spend time in, and at the end of the day, we have made it our business to understand those needs. So it's like, if I say a need, it's a need from both sides, from the patron's point of view as a student, as well as our client's point of view, to be on the leading edge of food service, to be on the leading edge of how these kids function, how they eat, how they interact with each other. So we essentially come up with a solution that actually fills that need on a campus.
Wow, the toughest challenge is something no one knows about. We are built over a utility tunnel. So the building straddles a utility tunnel, which was, at least early on, a problem. But, there are other problems as well that more like challenges, not problems.
What would you say the biggest challenge has been on this project so far?
I think it's budget. We were obviously all of us very ambitious in terms of this project. It is a very important project for us, so we pulled out all the stops in design. In reality, when it came to the cost of the project, it was tough, and it's still a challenge to bring this project in within the budget. I think the second biggest challenge was and still is the timeline. We had to beat winter in order to get the building closed in. We ultimately didn't beat winter, and we had all kinds of work that we had to do to get this building closed in.
I don't know. A challenge, I would say convincing everybody that some of the crazy finishes we were telling them to use was something that they could relax and go for. And but the proof will be in the pudding.
Yeah.
And once you see it out there, they're going to say, that was a good choice.
The biggest challenge is the continuing design elements that come up. They are nice to have, and yet when we are well down the road and someone wants to redesign, it's a distinct challenge.
Someone like Carl, will you say that?
Well, yeah, Carl tends to be the greatest challenge because the guy's got a great mind. He thinks of all sorts of neat things. It's just 2 days after we already built it the other way. That's the only problem.
I love it. That's great.
Probably all the changes that have been made. that would have to be by far the biggest challenge is figuring out what we're doing at any given point in time.
Okay. So designers will come in and owners will come in. You guys will look at it and you'll say, ooh, this would look better if we moved this. So there's some of that freedom on this project?
Correct. It just happened about 10 minutes ago. The challenge is fantastic. I mean, the different materials we're using, the different type of construction, the fact that it's a lead project makes it, I mean, what I call challenging, which is what I call fun.
Right.
You know, the headaches of the changes just go along with it.
We instituted on this project a red file policy, which is a placeholder or a parking lot for all ideas. So we very early in the project realized that there's so many people with so many ideas, so many different thought patterns about this and that and the other. So I instituted a red file policy which actually becomes the catch-all for all these ideas. So through the month we'll have one red file meeting. It's a closed session, it's only select group people in the meeting, but it is a place for us to go open the red file, go through it one at a time and say good idea, bad idea, and it goes on the floor or it goes in the project. So very fun meetings to be in those, because there is no limit to that. There's no limit to how far you can go, ideas you can put on the table. It's normally a full day meeting. It takes 8 hours to go through the file, but it was that I think gave the project the edge that we have today.
You have the project kind of it runs along. If our world was a record player, you have we started out at 33, and now we're at 78. We went right past 45, so it's getting ramped up to warp speed. As the closer you get to the end point, it becomes more of a feeding frenzy, and all the trades that come together, and everything that helps to make it happen. And now here we are.
Several components that we need to cover in a project like this, and I'm going to start with the most creative to the least creative. On the most creative side, the leading edge, you need a what I call a design team leader, somebody that has the vision, somebody that has that understands the concept, that understands the end goal, like you say. And in this project, where I selected Arthur to be that person. Arthur's role was to not only handle the expectations from the client and understand what the food service operators will need, but to then translate that in design language to the rest of the design group. So beyond the design leader, you'll have a concept designer, you'll have a food service designer, an architect, engineer, several disciplines of engineering that will follow that. But the end of the day, unless your team lead, your design team lead, has that vision and that goal in mind, you struggle to get the rest of the team on board with that.
As design always has the ability to do, somewhere along the line it crashes with construction.
Crashes? You can't say that. Well, they're crashing with us.
So construction is crashing with design.
We know what the aesthetic should be. There's always the balance between what you spend on having an aesthetic come to what it should look like, and the practicality of building something that it works from a functional perspective. So,
do you have any personal design pieces that you're really going to look
it's
to
all
see
personal
finished?
now.
It's all personal.
No,
No, it is. Art is personal.
It's personal from the perspective that I want to make sure that I've interpreted what is required in terms of the brief.
Very awesome.
So that's my, if I get that right, then I've done a good job.
Well, the nice thing about this project was Carl gave us free rein on creativity within certain boundaries. If you thought something was ridiculous, you weren't doing it. But if something was ridiculous and it was cool, then he let you do it. I think that's why this building is pretty awesome looking. You know, there's certain parts about it that you won't see in a normal building because a larger CM or GC, they're too scared to do something like that because there's a lot of artistic work in there.
There's some parts of this building that in the design are going to be what we call green.
Yes.
Explain, what are some of those?
Well, obviously, Chartwells has a drive to build green buildings. So especially on this one, we had a green initiative, and we introduced various green components. And it wasn't just in the material selection. It is the efficiency of the air conditioning system. It's we have some photovoltaic panels on the roof that will drive some of it. Our delivery truck that's going to be delivering the food to the various satellites will run on grease that or fat or oil that we use in the cookers in the kitchen. There's all kinds of things. We have a green roof to limit or mitigate the green island effect that you have, the heat island effect that the building usually produces. So there's all kinds of green factors that we brought in.
I mean, we've really approached this as trying to become as green or sustainable as we can. A lot of things we're doing just because it's the right thing to do. Certainly there are other things that we're doing in order to get this project LEED certified. So U.S. Green Building Council, that is their rating system. And of course you have to follow by those rules in order to get your building certified. So some of the things that we're doing are simply best aimed at getting that certification. They're all great things to do as well. But some things were things that we wanted to do and also incorporate into design, like the stormwater catchment. We are going to harvest rainwater and use it for flushing toilets, for urinals as well. You know, clearly it's not potable water, so you can't drink it. But we can save on water consumption by reusing the rainwater. We can also use it for irrigation. Yeah, I'd say 50% of the roof drainage off of the building is going through that 10,000 gallon storm catchment system.
So that's water I don't have to pay a utility company.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fabulous.
Free and clear.
Free and clear. All right, man. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
This building looks a little different than the other buildings on the campus there. How does that start and go over?
Well, when I met Steve Krakoff for the first time, he said to me, I said to him, give me an idea of architectural guidelines. What architectural language do you want to follow on this project? And he said to me, I want it to be different, but take a walk on campus and go look at some of the other buildings out there and, you know, harvest some of those pieces and build it into a project. And we did just that. And then we, needless to say, if you look at the final product, we didn't find too many pieces that we could harvest. And we just came up with a concept that we felt like will take the college campuses, the dining facilities to another level. And I'll be remiss to say that it didn't come without hesitation on their side or pain on their side, but I'm happy to report that everybody at the end of the day came back and said this was the right decision, right building, right style, and we really feel like it's created that environment, that transparency that we wanted to create. So that was, I think, one of the first and one of the biggest hurdles in the design process to cross, was to make sure that we arrive at a building type or a building language that will be both complementary of the campus but raise the bar on campus on all the building standards.
My name is Keith Fennelly. I work with Vision Builders. We're the food service designers and interior designers of the space. And I brought a little bit of Irish flair to the project. Favorite part of the building was the Hearthstone oven, and also with the rear glass window to actually see into the flame. It's the first time we've ever done that, and it turned out really cool. What am I going to miss? I'm going to miss working with everybody that's affiliated with it. Everybody put in a really good effort, and we're so glad that it's being handed over to the kids and the school here to be able to use it to the best of its ability.
My name is Dean Monin. I work with a company called Jones Lang LaSalle. We're a real estate consulting company. So Bowling Green hired me basically to help them substitute, add some horsepower to their staff to oversee the building of this, construction of this building while they're doing so much else on campus. What I've enjoyed about this building, really probably for the most part, is their architect had as a European design sense, is how I would say it. Very different in how they approach the design than an American architecture firm typically, and the finishes and the use of those finishes is really different and not what I normally see. So it's fun to see something different.
The kitchen is fairly open, where we have a full demonstration kitchen right in the center of the dining room. There we'll be doing live demonstrations every day at lunch for our students, faculty, and staff. All of our cooks will be out there within the kitchen, so they will be servicing our students, and it's very exciting. It's a little challenging for them because they're all a little nervous about being on stage. And really breaking down the walls so we can create the relationships with the students. That's the main thing, is that we want to create those relationships to help educate them. It's a learning community, so dining needs to be a part of that.
I think, I don't know if there's a personal victory on this or not. It's just seeing it come to life. I mean, frankly, we haven't had to make too many concessions on the original design.
Okay, that's good.
And, seeing it come to fruition.
The biggest victory is the smiles and the congratulations and the thank yous from staff that inhabit this place and work in here, and the environment, the new environment that they're going to have. They just love it, and that's the best feedback we can get.
The victory there is they will feel like it's a space that really talks to them because it's got a really contemporary feel, and the feeding philosophy speaks to that as well. So it will make a big difference in terms of what we are used to seeing, cafeteria style, and what this building is about.
I hope they're going to just say cool. I hope they're going to like it. Yeah.
Here we are, day 424 since the day we broke ground, and we're finally handing this baby over to the next generation, to the group of people that's going to make it their home, make it their playground, make it their kitchen for the next 10 years. And I think it's come together in a way where we have given them what we promised them. We have given the kids at Bowling Green somewhere where they can hang out and mingle and eat and study, all those things together. What I'll miss most about the project, I think, is, well, let me put it this way. The one single thing I'll miss most about the project is going to be the chocolate croissants at Pistachio Vera Columbus. But second to that, I think I'm going to miss the team getting together every 2 weeks, working through the issues, rolling up our sleeves. You know, nothing is unaccomplishable. No is not the right answer. So at the end of the day, that's the thing that I'm taking away from this project, where I was able to work in a team that is cohesive, that was complete, and that shared the same end goal, regardless of how we got there. Every one of us
had a common end goal for this project.